Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer channel episode, and today I am going to be doing an unboxing. It's very exciting, and look what the lovely people at Pen & Sword sent me. Pen & Sword is a UK publisher, and they allowed me to select some books from their publication list of new releases coming out or just released, and I selected some and they've sent me them. So of course I'm going to unbox them now and show you. I confess I cannot remember which books I ordered, so this is actually going to be a bit of a surprise for me too. Like I said, the publisher is Pen & Sword Books Limited. So what I will do is I will link in the description box where you can actually purchase these books from if you are interested. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the packet. Very exciting. Okay. Let's do both ends. Oh wow, okay. There is a bundle. We like a bundle, don't we? So, oh my god, look at my book bundle. Look. My goodness, can you see? Can you see the book bundle? Wow, okay. Let's take this out and have a little look. So this is what I have just opened. Let's detach that from the cardboard. Look at the book bundle. My goodness. I've totally forgotten what I've ordered. I really have. This is crazy. Thank you so much to Pen & Sword, by the way. They specialise in historical books. Okay, wow. Oh wow. Okay, let's just move the information. There's a little note from Pen & Sword which says, from Pen & Sword, "Hi Elliot, please find enclosed your new books for review. Enjoy. Best wishes, Rosie." Thank you so much, Rosie. Now, by the way, as you can tell, I have not actually read these books, so in terms of actually doing a full-on review of the books, I am not able to at this moment, but as and when I read them, of course I will give you an updated review of the books. But I just wanted in this video to show you which books are available, and then obviously if you are interested, you can check them out. So let's start with, oh okay, I remember, Richard III. Okay, if I just show the book here. This is a book on Richard III, Fact and Fiction by Matthew Lewis. And if I read a little bit on the back whilst I hold it up, and then you can see it. So in Richard III, you'll find fast and fun answers to all your secret questions about this controversial king. Endlessly portrayed as a scheming murderer in fiction, what was the real Richard III like? How much of what we think we know about England's most controversial monarch will remain when the facts are sifted from the fictions? So it looks like this is a book that's going to spill some tea. This is a spilling tea type of book. And just in case you wanted to know kind of what the print is like, I know some of you want to know, that's kind of like what the print is like. And of course it has some black and white pictures. Obviously I'm not going to show you all of the text because if you're interested, you should go out and purchase the book. But yes, there's lots of pictures, black and white pictures of different places. If I read some of the chapter titles, such as Chapter 1, A Son of York, Chapter 4, The Crisis of 1483, Chapter 5, Taking the Throne, Chapter 7, Personal Disasters, Chapter 8, The Battle of Bosworth Field, and Chapter 9, Richard's Legacy. So those are some of the sorts of chapters that you can look to enjoy. If I hold this up at the back, maybe you can pause and zoom in and read. There you go. So it does look really good. King Richard III remains one of the most infamous and recognisable monarchs in English or British history. Despite only sitting on the throne for 2 years and 58 days, his hold on the popular imagination is largely due to the fictional portrayal of him by William Shakespeare, which, combined with the workings of 5 centuries of rumour and gossip, has created 2 opposing versions of Richard. In fiction, he is the evil, scheming murderer who revels in his plots, but many of the facts point towards a different man. Dissecting a real Richard III from the fictional versions that have taken hold is made difficult by the inability to discern motives in many instances, leaving a wide gap for interpretation that can be favourable or damning in varying degrees. It is the facts that will act as a scalpel to begin the operation of finding the truth, obscured by fiction. Well, you know that on this channel we do like facts, so I'm liking this book. So let's put this to one side and move on to the next one. Oh, I remember now. The English Civil War. A period in history which I have read about and I have learnt about in school, but one that I would like to deepen my own personal understanding of. So the English Civil War obviously was Cromwell and Cromwell's fight against monarchy, and Cromwell came out on top. But I want to know a few more facts about all of this. So the English Civil War, Fact and Fiction, by James Hobson, and that is the cover of this book. And I'll read a bit at the back. In the English Civil War, you'll find fast and fun answers to all your secret questions about this remarkable period of British history. Have you ever found yourself watching a show or reading a novel and wondering what life was really like in the Civil War? Did the war really split families? Was Charles I just too stupid to be king? Did Cromwell really hate the monarchy, and did Parliament actually ban Christmas? In the English Civil War, Fact and Fiction, you'll find fast and fun answers to all your secret questions about this remarkable period of British history. Find out about people's lives and how the Civil War affected them. Learn about the role of women and if they merely stayed at home and suffered. And if Cromwell really was always miserable. So there's a few pertinent points that I think address lots of modern issues as well. And it's nice, I think, to compare and contrast modern issues with the past. James Hobson brings to life the tumultuous and unprecedented period of history that is known as the Civil War, an unfussy yet accurate history. Each chapter presents a controversy in itself and sets about dispelling commonly held myths about the Civil War. Again, we do like a bit of truth. Now, I think this is very much in the same format as the previous book, that kind of text, and some black and white photographs as well. So, if you're interested, I will leave the link below. Do go and check it out. Moving on. Oh my goodness, what have I got? Great British Family Names and Their History. What's in a Name? By John Moss. Wow, so it's all about family names and family trees. I remember why I chose this now, because genealogy is something that I really want to get into, and this might help. So, a huge part of who we are and where we come from is determined by our family name. Through looking at the history of names, we can explore the history of Great Britain in itself. From iconic names like Wellington, Cromwell and de Montfort, and innumerable others. They reflect the long checkered history of Britain and the many different types of people who have made this island their home. Fascinating guide for genealogists and budding family historians. That's what I wanted. Wanting to learn more about their name and its history. And of course, not just for Britons. As you know, Britain's emigrated all over the world. So if you're from a different country, don't be put off, because your name may be in here somewhere. Wow. Okay, so I'm just looking at the chapter page now, and it is split up in chapters between geographical locations in the UK, like for example, Part 3, the West Midlands, Part 6, the South East, Part 8, Scotland, and so on and so on. So it looks like you can kind of pinpoint which area of the country you want to look at. And yes, it's got lots of different family names, like the Ardens, the Astleys, the Haywoods, the Egertons, the Birch, the Bold family, the Teesdale. I wonder if my name is in here. I can't find mine, but I will need to have a really good look. This looks really, really interesting. So if you are a budding genealogist, this may pique your interest. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. A History of the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, 1682 to 2017. The Warriors' Repose, by Stephen Wynne and Tanya Wynne. Must be a husband and wife couple. Wow, look. So this is about the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, where the Chelsea pensioners are from. You've seen them at Trooping the Colour. They're the ones that wear red. So this will be very fascinating. And I'm imagining pictures. Yes, there's a few pictures in black and white. It looks really interesting. Oh, look on the back. I'm loving the back cover. That's really interesting. Just let you have a look at that. Okay, let's see what it says about it. Hang on. A history of the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, looks at the hospital's beginnings with its royal patronage and heritage, which dates back to King Charles II in 1682. It then goes to look at some of the characters who have been in pensioners at the hospital over the centuries, as well as some of the individuals who have been buried in the hospital's grounds. This includes the ashes of the ex-British Prime Minister Baroness Margaret Thatcher and her husband Sir Dennis Thatcher. The hospital survived both the First and Second World Wars, although it did not escape totally unscathed, suffering both damage and loss of life at the hands of the German aircraft. There is an in-depth look at the hospital's governors, from the very first one, Colonel Sir Thomas Ogle in 1686 to 1702, up until the present time with General Sir Redmond Watt from 2011 till 2017. The book also looks in some detail at a few of those who currently live and work at the hospital. This looks to be a really interesting read. If you're interested, like with all the others, I will link below. Ooh, next one, the Royal Navy. I'm loving this. My granddad was in the Navy, which is why I want to learn a little bit more about this. So the Royal Navy, 1793 to 1800, the birth of a superpower by Mark Jessup. And the back as well. So let's read a bit about this. When your foes are rabid Jacobins and Napoleon Bonaparte, how do you win a war at sea? What made the British Royal Navy sail to success and become a superpower? Well, I'm sure you'll find out. A thoroughly researched account, we like researched, of the great and historically significant naval events and battles of the war against revolutionary France between 1793 and 1800, from the point of view of British seamen and civilians. Every chapter begins with a fictional short scene that puts the reader in the midst of press gangs, sea battles, cutting out expeditions and raids, then goes into detail of real-life events, characters, their hopes and fears, and reasons why the Royal Navy was successful. Mark Jessup uses primary sources, we like that, of the era, and secondary sources from the 19th century to give a flavour of the language and opinions of dozens of politicians, naval officers and ordinary people swept up in the tumultuous storm of the last years of the 18th century. Now, I'm not terribly, typically, keen on kind of war history, but this one appealed to me. One, because of the connection between the Royal Navy and my own granddad, who served in the Royal Navy during the war, but this kind of presents the history in quite a colourful way, I think, which is appealing to me. So I'm going to enjoy delving into this and learning more about it. And the final book, let's have a look. All Things Georgian. Oh my goodness, this I think will probably be my favourite one. So All Things Georgian. As you know, I dressed up as a Georgian for Halloween. There is a video on it. So All Things Georgian, Tales from the Long 18th Century by Joanne Major and Sarah Murden. Wow, I am really looking forward to this one. That just looks stunning. The artwork is stunning, I have to say. So let's read a bit from inside. Take a romp, we do like a good romp, don't we? Through the long 18th century in this collection of 25 true tales. Marvel at the Queen's ass. Gaze at the celestial heavens through the eyes of the past and be amazed by the equestrian feats of the Norwich nymph. My goodness! Journey to the debauched French court at Versailles. We like a bit of debauchery. Travel to Covent Garden. Take your seat in a box at the theatre. And afterwards join the Mile High Club in the new-fangled hot air balloon. Meet actresses, whores and high-born ladies, politicians, inventors, royalty and criminals, as we travel through the Georgian era in all its glorious and gruesome glory. My goodness. In roughly chronological order, covering the reign of 4 Georges 1714 to 1830, and set within the framework of the main events of the era. These tales are accompanied by over 100 stunning colour illustrations. Let's just flick through. Oh, yes, they are. I mean, obviously I'm not going to show all of them, but they are quite stunning. Lots of ornate detail, I would say. Okay, it looks really interesting. This is going to be, I think, a bedtime read. So my goodness, thank you so much to Pen and Sword Rosie in particular, for allowing me to choose such a fabulous selection of books, and I am sure I will enjoy all of them. As and when I read them, I will of course give you a quick update, perhaps in my weekly live chat, just to make it a little bit easier. But yes, if you are interested in any of those books, please click the links below. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me in Shropshire, mwah to you all, and goodbye.